For those born under the sign of Scorpio, a period of exceptional importance is dawning, revealing new horizons and offering unique opportunities. This sign, traditionally positioned as the final link in the familiar zodiacal cycle, has always been distinguished by its particular sensitivity to impending changes, sensing their approach long before others. However, the current situation is completely unprecedented. Scorpio is directly influenced by the emergence of Ophiuchus, the mysterious 13th sign, which literally erases the once unshakable boundaries between the established order and a completely new astrological reality. This powerful cosmic configuration directly affects Scorpio's deepest aspirations, an irresistible desire to gain even greater strength, multiply wealth, become indispensable and sought after, achieve absolute independence from external circumstances, and fully control their own well-being. What once seemed a distant dream or even a completely unattainable ideal now suddenly takes tangible shape, thanks to the activation of Scorpio's unique internal resources. This refers to their insight, which allows them to see hidden motives, their strategic vengefulness, used only when absolutely necessary to restore justice, their unwavering ability to overcome any obstacle, their sharp, almost instinctive intuition for others' vulnerabilities, and, especially valuable, their rare gift for skillfully concealing their own weaknesses. For the first time, individuals of this sign will witness firsthand how their seemingly innate qualities, which may have previously been perceived as controversial, elevate them to an entirely new, unprecedented level of existence. The culmination of these planetary shifts will occur on July 4, when Venus, the planet of love and harmony, located in mutable Gemini, forms a powerful conjunction with Uranus, the symbol of sudden change and innovation, positioned in stable Taurus. For Scorpio, this day will not merely be another date on the calendar, but a true turning point for forming a fundamentally new system of personal relationships. The traditional 8th house of the horoscope, which is central for Scorpio, governing deep intimacy, shared resources, and power dynamics in emotional bonds, will undergo a sudden and radical transformation. If, until now, individuals of this sign were often prone to rigid control, consuming jealousy, and excessive suspicion in relationships, then a vast space for genuine sincerity, deep trust, and the formation of completely unique, qualitatively new unions, which previously seemed impossible, now opens before them. This paves the way for unprecedented freedom in expressing feelings and building partnerships. Ophiuchus introduces an element of surprise and unpredictability into Scorpio's life. They encounter someone who is not afraid of their power and even finds a source of attraction in it. Moreover, Scorpio begins to trust not only spoken words but also demonstrated actions for the first time, which fundamentally transforms their entire paradigm of interactions. In the professional sphere, a reliable ally emerges. In family relationships, genuine emotions awaken, not routine domestic games, but an all-consuming passion capable of radically changing the established order. Financial flows also begin to arrive not through arduous struggle, but via new, promising contacts and advantageous offers that Scorpio attracts with their own powerful energy. For Scorpio, the pursuit of a prosperous future is based not on blind faith in fate's favor, but on a thorough analysis of available prospects. They never expect ready-made solutions or external help, relying solely on their own strength and resources. However, a fundamental shift in the usual order is now observed. A powerful energetic support system emerges in their environment, one they can lean on while maintaining complete independence and self-sufficiency. Ophiuchus serves as a catalyst, strengthening their inner core. This strengthening is not so that Scorpio dissolves into the expectations of others, but so they can maximize their potential and get everything possible out of life. Month after month, achieving their goals becomes easier and more effective. They stop getting bogged down in agonizing doubts, demonstrate the ability for instant decision-making, and are no longer attached to others' opinions or evaluations. As a vivid example, a typical Scorpio, who previously endured circumstances for years for the sake of a false illusion of stability, suddenly reaches a qualitatively new income level by drastically changing jobs or embarking on a project that once seemed too risky and absolutely unattainable. On July 5, the planet Neptune begins its retrograde motion. At this fateful moment, Scorpio's 12th house reveals all the deep internal barriers that have hitherto constrained their true essence. If Scorpios previously carried the burden of old grievances, clung to the ghosts of past relationships, or feared showing their vulnerability, all these shackles now gradually fall away. For the first time in a long time, individuals of this zodiac sign feel an inner readiness and courage to finally turn a new page in their lives. A unique opportunity opens before them to forgive themselves and free themselves from destructive scenarios where blame for what happened was always placed on someone else. Those Scorpios who have remained single until now stop making excuses for their situation. Instead, they use this period for a purposeful search for the one who truly matches their deep nature. This is a person with similar inner strength, capable of sharing genuine passion, devoid of pettiness and excessive pity. Those already in relationships finally find the resolve to openly discuss the most pressing and urgent topics, no longer avoiding difficult but necessary conversations. Most importantly, from this moment on, their ability to see the true essence of people, penetrate through external masks, and recognize hidden motives begins to work in their favor, eliminating any errors in partner selection. Happiness in new, mutual love for Scorpio promises to be a true storm of passions, a whirlwind of deep and all-consuming feelings. They absolutely do not tolerate lies or fake games, and now they meet someone who can withstand their uncompromising honesty. The return of an old love is also possible, but only if both partners have gone through a deep personal crisis, abandoned manipulation, and begun open dialogue. In such a case, trust in the couple significantly strengthens, and minor, distracting conflicts disappear, giving way only to what is most important, powerful shared energy. For those who are single, it is strongly recommended to step outside their comfort zone, boldly make acquaintances if genuine interest arises, and show initiative without shyness or fear of seeming strange or inconvenient. On July 7th, Uranus enters the zodiac sign of Gemini for the first time in 85 years. For Scorpios, this event signifies a radical change in established financial schemes and initiates the emergence of completely new sources of income. Although Scorpio has always been characterized by strategic thinking, it is now daring in exploring the unknown that brings them tangible results. In this context, Ophiuchus acts as a powerful catalyst for expanding their financial opportunities. Scorpio gains a unique chance to try their hand at a project that previously seemed impossible, or to receive funds from sources they never could have imagined. For example, a Scorpio who previously held a position in a traditional office environment might launch their own digital project and, in just 1 month, reach a profit level almost comparable to their annual earnings. Other individuals of this sign, who were previously cautious about investing, will suddenly see rapid dividends from investments that everyone else merely discussed but dared not undertake even the slightest action. Risk for Scorpio not only becomes a familiar phenomenon but, more importantly, is devoid of any fear. The realm of finance for Scorpio now ceases to be merely a symbol of frugality or a strict report. It transforms into an active search for new opportunities, gaining dynamism, a readiness for risk, and the ability to take full responsibility for decisions made. Fear completely disappears. The financial independence that comes during this period reveals hidden potentials that previously remained untapped. If Scorpio previously tended to accumulate, they now learn to spend funds judiciously, investing exclusively in projects demonstrating real effectiveness. Material stability comes to them when they let go of clinging to familiar, outdated approaches and are not afraid to experiment with what was previously considered excessively risky. During this period, there is a significant probability of receiving a large sum from a win or competition, as well as an inheritance or the unexpected acquisition of a patron. However, there is one indispensable condition: a complete absence of debt obligations. All of Scorpio's achievements will be exclusively the result of their own diligent work and accumulated personal experience. On July 13th, karmic Saturn begins its retrograde journey in the sign of Aries. This astrological position activates key characteristics of Scorpio, amplified by Ophiuchus's influence, such as unwavering determination, enviable perseverance, and a complete lack of fear in the face of any challenges. If certain obstacles or internal barriers previously hindered their progress, preventing them from moving forward, a unique opportunity now arises to finally break this vicious cycle of limitations. Under Ophiuchus's influence, Scorpio gains the courage to not fear starting fresh, to boldly step onto uncharted paths where there are no guarantees of success, and to ignore the opinions of those accustomed to following others' dictates. Many individuals of this zodiac sign make fateful decisions, changing careers, moving to new cities or even countries, and embarking on projects that have long awaited their time. Thus, liberation from previous limitations transforms from a mere slogan into an authentic and tangible way of life for Scorpio. The most significant aspect is the emergence of a new, unshakable self-confidence in Scorpio. They are no longer afraid to be a pioneer and do not seek approval from others. They independently determine their path and direction. On July 18, Mercury goes retrograde in Leo. For Scorpio, this astrological event serves as a clear signal for maximum caution regarding others' words, dubious promises, and tempting offers of easy gain. However, Ophiuchus will not allow them to fall into traps. Their intuition during this period sharpens to such an extent that they can detect lies even before they fully manifest. If someone tries to pressure them, draw them into a useless conflict, or unfairly accuse them of deeds they did not commit, Scorpio will not justify themselves or offer explanations, they will simply and decisively cut off anything superfluous and destructive. During this period, their energetic potential reaches its peak, which may provoke attempts by envious individuals and competitors to cause harm. However, Scorpio instantly senses approaching danger and shows their teeth, their strength and resolve, and does so quite impressively. They should not succumb to the influence of others' emotions. It is important to preserve their energy for their own goals. The temptation of quick but dishonest profit loses its relevance for them. They prefer to choose a more difficult but absolutely honest path, and ultimately achieve victory while others suffer defeat. The process of neutralizing any negative energy during this period occurs almost automatically for them. They do not waste precious time on meaningless arguments or attempts to prove anything with words. Instead, they prefer to prove their point solely through their actions and deeds. Those around them are completely astonished. They are struck by Scorpio's external composure and coolness, but it is precisely this character trait that ultimately brings Scorpio triumph. What is not truly one's own naturally falls away, and only what genuinely belongs to them remains. On July 30, Chiron begins its retrograde motion. During this period, it is extremely important to let go of clinging to the past and outdated beliefs. Any aspects of life that no longer bring satisfaction or joy naturally leave an individual's space. For Scorpios, this period is marked by the relinquishment of the need to prove or explain anything to others. Scorpios' true power lies in active doing, not in empty words or discussions. They need to reduce the number of words spoken, avoid self-praise, and carefully guard their resources, both energetic and material. It is extremely important not to squander precious life energy on worries related to past grievances or injustices. As a vivid example, consider a Scorpio who consciously frees themselves from the influence of toxic individuals. After just a couple of weeks, they discover significantly more freedom and inner lightness in their life, surpassing the feelings of all previous years. One should also not waste their strength and attention on interacting with unreasonable or ignorant people. On July 31, the Sun conjuncts retrograde Mercury in Leo. For Scorpios, this astrological aspect symbolizes the onset of a period of the deepest self-reflection and utmost honesty with themselves. All hidden desires, secret ambitions, and even those aspirations previously perceived as sinful or absolutely forbidden, can now be fully accepted and consciously utilized as a powerful inner resource. Ophiuchus's influence at this time helps remove internal barriers and psychological prohibitions that have long constrained the personality. If an individual previously feared judgment from others or was excessively harsh in self-assessment, they are now given the opportunity to allow themselves to express various facets of their nature and be truly multifaceted. It is precisely during this unique period that ideas which until recently seemed completely unthinkable or unattainable are born and actively manifest in consciousness. One begins to clearly and genuinely understand their true desires and aspirations, after which they proceed to purposefully build their entire life around these deep inner needs. All this transformation occurs exclusively thanks to their own inner energy and conscious personal choice. A special time is now arriving for Scorpios. This is not just someone's assertion, but a statement of the fact that their inner potential coincides with a unique astrological moment. Under the influence of Ophiuchus, there is a real chance to abandon familiar patterns of existence, acquire new facets in love, financial well-being, career achievements, and deserved recognition, and not in theoretical discussions, but in practical manifestations. For those unfamiliar with the concept of Ophiuchus, an explanation is in order. Ophiuchus represents a special segment of the zodiacal belt that is returning to its true position. For many centuries, the astrological system was artificially divided. 12 signs were precisely divided into 30 degrees each, for the purpose of simplifying astrological calculations. However, the true ecliptic, reflecting the actual movement of the sun, is an uneven division into 13 segments, and one of them is Ophiuchus. This sector was excluded during the period known as the Age of Pisces to ensure the zodiacal circle corresponded to the calendar division. As a result, the traditional dates and characteristic traits of the zodiac signs were distorted. Notably, with the advent of the new era, known as the Age of Aquarius, and specifically when the planet Jupiter enters the constellation Ophiuchus in November of this year, the astrological system will regain its astronomical accuracy. Horoscopes will be based not on outdated or simplified schemes, but on the actual position of the sun in the celestial sphere. Thus, the zodiacal circle will be divided into 13 authentic sectors. The sign of Scorpio, apparently, is the first to feel the impending radical changes. Its usual traditional dates of influence, which extended from October 23 to November 22, will irrevocably become a thing of the past. According to precise astronomical calculations based on the actual position of the sun, Scorpio will now occupy only 1 week, from October 23 to November 29, directly after it, from November 30 to December 17, follows the period of Ophiuchus, a new participant in the zodiacal circle. This transformation is intended to eliminate the long-standing confusion associated with the attributes, territorial boundaries, and periods of activity of the signs. The entire zodiacal system will acquire unprecedented accuracy and fairness. Each individual will be able to determine their true astrological sector, and the natal chart, in turn, will become a mirror, undistortedly reflecting celestial phenomena. In light of these changes, Scorpio enters a new era of its existence, acting henceforth not merely as the last element of an outdated cycle. It becomes a central actor in the genuine renewal of the zodiacal system, where its true energy, hitherto hidden or underestimated, will for the first time find full and undistorted manifestation.